What is going on, everybody? It is Luke Beller with the Sideline Scoop. So most of you guys probably already know this. You probably watched the game yesterday. The Packers beat the Lions 31-24, leading us to win the NFC North. And right now we are sitting at the top of the NFC at the number 1 seed. Because during that game, the Eagles were also playing the Saints. And I was watching that game. The Eagles were up 17-0 against the Saints. And I was like, come on, baby. I knew that if we won, if the Saints lost, that we would move to that number 1 seed. So now, because the Saints did lose to the Eagles and we beat the Lions, we have the tiebreaker with the Saints because we beat them earlier this season. So now we are both sitting at 10-3 right now with the Packers at the number 1 seed. So if we win our final 3 games, we will definitely be the number 1 seed in the NFC. And I saw a quote from Aaron Rodgers saying that in all 4 of his NFC championship games, they've all been on the road. So to be able to play an NFC championship game, of course, if we win our first playoff game, or our first couple games, whatever it is, that would definitely be great for the Packers to be playing at home for that NFC championship. So great to see the Packers pull up this victory. So now to sort of talk about yesterday's game. It was a little closer than maybe I had hoped. I know that, coming against a division rival like the Lions, you never really know what can happen. And as I sort of talked about in the prediction video, with Patricia recently leaving the Lions, with them bringing in the interim head coach Bevel, they were 1-0, and they seemed to, have a little bit more fire inside of them. Matthew Stafford came out and had a great game. In the first half, Matthew Stafford threw for 203 yards. So they were really moving the ball. It was 14-14 at half. So a pretty close game through the first half of the game. So if you take a look at Aaron Rodgers in this game, he had another dominant performance. 26 for 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 133.6 rating, and he also had 1 rush touchdown in that game. So I could definitely see Aaron Rodgers getting the MVP, especially yesterday with Patrick Mahomes throwing 3 interceptions. I think it's possible that Rodgers could finish off with his MVP. Of course, we've got 3 weeks left of the season. We'll have to wait and see sort of how Mahomes and Rodgers sort of finish off the year, because it's probably pretty much down to those two, most likely. So we'll have to wait and see for that. In that game, one thing I loved to see was Marquez Valdes-Scantling had a great game, probably one of the best games I've seen from him. He sort of showed that he's not just a deep threat. He can sort of do other things as well. He had 6 receptions, 85 yards, and 1 amazing touchdown catch. The defender had super tight coverage on him. He reaches back for that ball, and honestly, it sort of looked like Davante Adams. So great game from Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Definitely rebounding after that fumble in that overtime game. And if we can have Marquez Valdes-Scantling playing this well, along, with Davante and Allen Lazard, this Packers offense is definitely just, very, very hard to stop. So also Davante had another great game, 7 receptions, 115 yards, and 1 touchdown. And right now, Davante Adams, he's just on fire. No one can really stop him. So this Packers offense continues to roll, puts up another 30-plus point game, finishing off the game with 31 points. But of course, the Lions, finished only 7 behind us. It was a lot closer than I think lots of people would have hoped. As I talked about earlier, Matthew Stafford had a great first half. Coming into the second half, the Packers started off with a 14-play, 8 minutes and 49 seconds drive with a touchdown. And then they also had another 12-play, 7-minute and 49-second drive. And they were up 28-14 with only 12 minutes left to play. So one thing we've seen from this Packers team so far this season is when the Packers have gotten up by a lot, in the later parts of the game, this Packers defense still sort of allows teams to almost come back and get back in the game, like last week versus the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, scoring on that 4th down play, bringing them a lot closer than probably they should have been. It sort of happened this week as well. We're up 28-14 with 12 minutes left in the game. Matthew Stafford drives down the field. They get a touchdown on that drive. Matthew Stafford, of course, goes down, gets injured, and they bring in their backup for the next drive. Luckily, Mason Crosby made that 58-yard field goal to make it a 10-point game. But then one other area where this Packers team has been struggling is special teams, because we kick off the ball, and I think they returned it for like 71 yards. And so that's one area where the Packers defense continues to have struggles with. So we definitely need to, fix that up in time for the playoffs. Because after that 71-yard return, I think they ended up putting up a field goal, only making it a 7-point game. And then that onside kick, even though they didn't end up getting it, it was super close. That guy's foot was almost in bounds. That could have been much, much closer than it really needed to be. So I think one thing for this Packers defense is just sort of finishing strong. We need to finish the game off, not have those sloppy penalties. But one great thing from this defense, we did see them get 4 sacks in this game. So coming off a 7-sack game versus the Eagles, it's good to see them, get 4 sacks. So if we take a look at the sacks, who got these sacks in this game, he had Darnell Savage had 1 sack. Kenny Clark, great game from Kenny Clark. He had 1 sack and 4 tackles. Definitely noticed him a lot more during that game. Dean Lowry also had a sack, and then Rashawn Gary had a sack. And Rashawn Gary was playing well in the first half, but I'm pretty sure he got an injury and didn't play as much in the second half, so we'll sort of have to wait and see for update on him sometime later this week. But overall, I'd say it's a great showing from this Packers team, especially the Packers offense, as it typically has been so far this season. So now with us sitting at the number 1 seed right now, it's definitely great to see that, we do control our destiny. If we win these final 3 games, we will be that number 1 seed, which I really think can be very beneficial to be able to play, all our games before the Super Bowl. at home in Green Bay. So that's going to be all for today's video. Make sure you guys smash the like button down below. Let's see if we can get to 200 likes on this video. I think it's possible. That's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. Go Pack, go baby, and I'll see you guys on the next one.